I hope you're enjoying this full free episode of Takedown, but there's something else you need to know. Only a small portion of our episodes are on YouTube. There are more than 100 episodes on our streaming service, ad-free and uncensored, at watchtrueblu.com. Use the code YouTube24 to watch them all for $2.50 or YouTube Year for $20 off an annual subscription. Also, and this is important, hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you soon on TruBlu. We're back in Michigan near the city of Flint, continuing our investigation alongside Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson and his team. GHOST stands for the Genesee Human Oppression Strike Team, a task force that goes undercover and exposes and arrests men who try to meet children for sex. And that's why Swanson's GHOST program is so important. We're at the motel with our decoys who've been chatting on various apps with potential predators. The man chatting with a decoy identifying herself as a 14-year-old girl is Michael Lee Lott. The decoy says, "You okay with younger girls?" Lott says, "Okay." "How old are you?" 14, I'll be 15 Christmas. Had to lie to post the ad. After the decoy sends Lott a photo, he's anxious to meet.
Kid, no. Green sweatshirt. Hey. Green sweatshirt. Hey. Come into the door right now.
Come here. Come on in here. Let me see your hand. Let me see your hand. Relax. Hey, just relax, buddy. You're good. Just relax. Hey, lay down right here. Lay down right here. What's your name? All the way down. Down on your head. Good work. Hey, what's your name? Mike. Mike? Yeah. I'm Jason. You're going to be all right, okay? You got anything in your pockets that's going to hurt me? No. Cut me, scare me? No. All right. What do you got in your pockets?
When he arrives, Lott is arrested by the GHOST team.
Turn. Just sit right like this for a minute. Just like that.
How's it going?
Good.
I'm going to have you move over to that bed right there. Have a seat.
Yeah, just turn back around and look that way. Yeah.
What was your plan here?
I didn't really know because I thought this was what this was.
You thought, what was this?
Like a sting, maybe.
A sting, maybe. What made you think it was a sting?
Because she said she was 19 and then 15.
She said she was 19.
Well, in the ad thing says she was 19 and then she's like 14, 15 and then she's going to turn 14.
No, what she said was she was going to be 15 in December, but she's 14
Christmas,
now.
right. And then I was like, something just don't sound right.
The chats don't lie, and, you know, one of the crimes committed here occurs in the chat. That's the first element of criminal activity.
But you came here anyway.
I was just going to check.
You were just going to check?
Yeah.
And so what was your plan once you got here? What were you going to do?
To see how old she actually was.
So you just decided to go for a ride today. You're in...
Actually, I'm on my way to Home Depot, too.
You were on your way to Home Depot.
Yeah.
What were you going to do at Home Depot?
Buy paint.
Buy paint.
Yeah.
And so on the way to Home Depot to buy paint, you decided to pop in and have sex with a 14-year-old girl.
I wasn't going to have sex with her.
You weren't going to have sex with her.
No.
I have heard no less than 100 times, probably 300 times in reality. I didn't mean it. I wasn't going to do anything. I'm going to get help. I just was here to check on her. I wanted to see if it was real. I was going to tell her parents. It's all BS.
What were you going to do?
Well, I was going to see how old she actually was. If she was, I was going to ask her for proof when I got here. See if she had a license or whatever. She didn't have a license. If she was really 15, I was going to bounce. But
you were going to bounce.
If she was older than 18, I was probably going to ask, because she said she squirted. I've never seen it before. I was going to ask her to see if I could see that.
Squirted? What do you mean by squirted?
Like, I don't know, like a girl gets off and she, like, ejaculates outside or whatever.
So you thought, well, on the way to Home Depot, why not stop and see this girl perform this sexual act?
Right.
And what were you supposed to be painting today?
But outside my house, I don't know where my phone is, but...
The outside of your house?
Yeah, you got...
What color were you going to paint it?
Graphite charcoal.
Graphite charcoal. And you're the homeowner?
Yep.
Do you live with anybody else?
My wife and kids.
Your wife and kids. And how old are your children?
9, 6, and 9, 7, and 8. 9, 7, and 5.
So your oldest is 5 years older than the girl you were going to come see here today. Correct?
Right.
And you're okay with that?
No. I was really going to ask her to see her ID, because if you read it, obviously you read the text messages, I asked for proof of her age.
You did?
Yes.
And what do you think your wife is going to say about this?
Wouldn't be happy?
Wouldn't be happy?
No.
What's your name?
Mike.
Mike what?
Lot.
Lot. And how old are you, Mike?
32.
32. And have you ever been in trouble before?
No, never.
Have you ever been caught by police before?
Nope, nothing.
Have you ever tried to solicit a girl who was underage before?
No.
So you just, today, decided that on the way to Home Depot to get graphite-colored paint to paint your house where your wife and 3 children live, you'd stop here to see a 14-year-old girl. Right. Why did you think that was okay?
I really was going to ask her for proof of her ID or something, but...
You see why that doesn't make sense, right?
I understand, yeah.
I've heard that story so many times, Mike.
No, I get it. I totally understand.
Why should I believe you?
Sure, I don't know. I really don't know.
You really don't know? In the chat, you say, I want to eat your pussy.
That's... Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Like, go down on her.
You wanted to go down on her?
I thought she was lying by her. I didn't think she was.
You thought she was lying by her age. But she said 14, and you wouldn't... She said she was 14 and wouldn't be 15 until December.
I didn't think she was telling me the truth.
What made you think...
The way she was talking to me.
I know, but she couldn't have made it clearer, Mike.
Yeah, I understand.
You say, I want to f*** you hard. Explain.
Just have sex with her.
It's hard for me to believe, Mike, that this is your first rodeo.
A lot of what I was saying, I wanted to see what she would say back, or a response back, to get a feel, like, I don't know, feel of like her responses, to see what her responses would be.
What her responses would be?
Yeah, 'cause I didn't, the way she was, I didn't really believe.
But she told you how old she was.
Right.
You saw pictures?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, 2. And what did the pictures show you, Mike?
Her sitting there with 3 fingers up.
3 fingers up. So she was obviously telling the truth about where she was, who she was. It doesn't make sense that you would think that she was lying about her age. What do you think should happen to you, Mike?
I've obviously learned my lesson now.
You learned your lesson now.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to ever do this again.
Hell no.
Hell no.
No.
But it took this for you to learn the lesson.
I don't want to be doing this again.
All right, I need you to be honest with me. How many times have you done this before?
How many times have I...
Met an underage girl online?
Never.
Never.
Honestly, never.
So what made you do it today?
When I seen the pictures, she didn't look 15. Got her ass at 19. And then the way she was talking to me, I didn't think she was 15. And I wanted to see for myself if she was really 15. I actually almost wanted to call the police and say that she was doing this.
You wanted to call the police and report her, but instead you came over to have sex with her. What would have happened, Mike, if I wasn't here, if the police weren't here, and just you and the girl were here?
I wouldn't have had sex with her. I wouldn't have.
Come on.
I would not have had sex with her.
So you're just going to watch her...
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Pleasure herself.
Right.
And then go off and get the paint and go back home to your wife and 3 children and paint the house.
Right.
Would you have told anybody? Would you have taken pictures?
No.
No, that would be wrong, right? Okay to solicit a 14-year-old girl online, but the rest of it's wrong. Well, Mike, there's something you need to know. I'm Chris Hansen, and we're doing a story on adults trying to meet children online for sex.
Right.
Is there anything else you want people to know?
No.
What do you say to your wife and family about this?
I'm sorry for doing this. I'm sorry for doing this.
You're sorry for doing this.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen now?
I've learned my lesson.
You learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Do you think you should go to jail?
No, I've never done anything wrong before.
This is wrong, right?
Yeah.
You did this.
I did it.
You solicited an underage girl for sex, right?
Right.
No questions.
No.
You did it.
Yep.
And you know that's a felony.
No.
It's against the law.
Right.
What do you do for a living, Mike?
I'm actually, I work in a prison.
You work in a prison.
Yeah.
Which prison, Mike?
Carson.
Carson Prison.
Yeah.
Is that a state prison?
Yeah.
And what do you do in the prison?
I monitor inmates.
Monitor inmates. Are you a corrections officer?
Yeah.
So you're a corrections officer monitoring inmates, some of whom likely are in there for being predators.
Right.
And here you are getting caught by me being a predator.
Right.
Don't you think that's a little ironic?
Right.
The next stop for you could be in the same prison where you used to work. What do you think they're going to do to you if you go to prison, Mike?
No idea.
Do you think they're going to like that?
No.
You know, they watch my shows in prison.
When he said he worked in a prison as a corrections officer, monitoring inmates, I was a bit taken aback. I mean, we've seen people involved in law enforcement and military get caught in these investigations in the past, but it's not as frequent. And so, yeah, it blew me away a little bit.
How long have you been a prison corrections officer?
A couple of years.
A couple of years. And did you have to go through a background check?
Yes.
And what specifically do you do at the Carson prison?
Just monitoring.
Monitoring.
Yeah. That's it.
And are you friends with the other corrections officers?
Not really, no.
Not really. What do you think they're going to think about this?
I have no idea.
Well, imagine being a corrections officer and finding out one of your fellow officers got arrested in a sting operation trying to have sex with an underage girl. Of course they're going to be upset. You would expect them to be upset, disappointed. And who is this guy working among us who has this responsibility of overseeing inmates? And he's committing crimes himself? That's shocking.
Anything else you want people to know? All right. Mike, you're free to go with these gentlemen behind
I'll
you.
go grab them. I don't have radios, so I'll sit down.
Are you sorry?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Excuse me. What's the lesson in this?
I'll be talking to people online.
Have you ever talked to other underage girls online?
I never talked to anyone.
See, it's hard for me to believe, Mike, that you just woke up today and decided to do this. How did you even know where to go to find underage girls to speak to?
I've never talked to any underage girls.
Never.
Never.
So just today?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess?
I've never talked to any.
Oh, come on, Mike.
I haven't.
You're caught. You might as well be honest.
I ain't be honest. I've never talked to any.
You're a corrections officer now being prosecuted for being a child predator. What was in your mind that made you do this today?
I don't know.
I don't know. But help me out here. Help me explain this. Help me understand what got you into this predicament. Come on.
I really don't know.
Well, am I supposed to read your mind?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm.
What are you going to do? How are you going to explain this to your wife?
No idea.
Give me 1 second.
Take it back right down.
What does your wife do for a living?
She works at school.
She's a teacher.
I'm screwed
No,
up.
she's not a teacher.
Teacher's aide?
Like something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So you're a corrections officer in a prison. Your wife is a teacher's aide or assistant. And you're here today attempting to meet a 14-year-old girl. Things don't look good for you. All right. You're free to go.
Right this way, Mike. Mike.
Michael Lott was charged with child sexually abusive activity, accosting a child for immoral purposes, and using a computer to commit a crime. He was sentenced to a minimum of 25 months in prison, making his earliest possible release date in 2024. He now sits alongside the men he used to monitor in prison. The corrections officer told me that he had a wife and 3 children at home, that he had stopped in to see this girl, 14 years old in his mind, on the way to Home Depot to get paint to paint his house. Like it was just popping into Starbucks to get a cup of coffee. What does that say to you?
That's not why he went to Home Depot. People that have this sexual deviancy, that's all they think about. It's like addicts. They work, they have families, but they're always thinking about how to stay high, how to keep from being dope sick. That is their top focus. A guy like this, his family's not his focus, his job's not his focus. He wants to have sex with an underage girl.
But what does it say about this crime that a guy can function as a corrections officer, a lawman in his own right, have a wife, children, one of those children is almost the same age as the child he was going to violate, and yet conduct himself in private in this menacing, predator-like fashion?
That is the scary part. Monsters among us. And we live in a world that has these individuals that if we don't do our job, then they will continue to lurk and continue to violate. But it's a reality. And when I talk to the community, I hold nothing back. I want people to be scared. I want people to be respectful of peace and law and order. I want people to understand that you can't take your eyes off your kids. You shouldn't. You can't take your eyes off people that are very close to you. Always have a watchful eye on the people that mean the most to you. And those that have positions of influence over younger, vulnerable people, whether it's kids or elderly or the mentally ill or even the addicted, we've got to protect them from the wolves around them.
To watch more episodes of Takedown, head over to WatchTruBlu.com.